Have you ever noticed that the people we admire most in life, the inventors, the leaders, the dreamers, the creators are rarely the ones who played it safe? They're the ones who dared to take risks. They're the ones who failed, sometimes spectacularly, but refused to give up. And that's the real secret. Nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nelson Mandela once said, "There is no passion to be found in playing small, in settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." Think about that, because every single one of us, at some point in our lives, has been told to play it safe, to settle, to keep a backup plan just in case. How many times have you heard this? Make sure you've got something to fall back on. But here's the truth. Falling back is overrated. If you're going to fall, fall forward. At least that way you'll see what you're about to hit. And falling forward means this. You take chances. You risk embarrassment. You risk failure. You risk hearing no over and over again. Because without consistency, without persistence, without being willing to stumble and get back up again, you'll never finish. Imagine this for a moment. An old IQ test asked people to connect 9 dots with just 5 lines without lifting their pencil. Most people failed. Why? Because the only way to do it was to go outside the box. That's the lesson. Don't be afraid to think differently. Don't be afraid to dream bigger than what others say is possible. And above all, don't be afraid to fail, because dreams without goals are just dreams. If all you do is dream, then you'll eventually wake up with nothing to show for it. Let's talk about failure for a moment. Do you know who holds the record for the most strikeouts in baseball? Reggie Jackson. He struck out 2,600 times, more than anyone else. But do you think that's what people remember? No. They remember the home runs. Do you know how many times Thomas Edison failed before inventing the light bulb? 1,000 times. But you and I don't remember the failures, we only remember the success. That's why I say fall forward. Every failed attempt brings you closer to the one that will work. And make no mistake, you will fail at something. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. That is guaranteed. But here's the thing. It's not the failure that defines you. It's what you do next. When I was just starting out in acting, I auditioned for a part in a Broadway musical. I thought it was the perfect role. It's only one problem. I couldn't sing, and I didn't get the part. I failed, but I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of there, and I prepared for the next audition, and then the next, and then the next. And every time I failed, I still prayed. I still believed. And eventually, I caught a break. Here's the irony. Years later, I starred in the play Fences on Broadway. Do you know where it was performed? At the exact same theater where I had failed that first audition 30 years earlier. That's what falling forward looks like. You take your failures and you turn them into stepping stones. But here's the bigger question. Do you have the guts to fail? Because if you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say that again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. To get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. Now imagine this. Picture yourself on your deathbed, and standing around you are the ghosts of your unfulfilled potential, the ghost of the ideas you never acted on, the ghost of the talents you never used, the ghost of the dreams you let die. And they're standing there staring at you, angry, disappointed, they say. We came to you because you could have brought us to life. Now we must go to the grave together. So I ask you today, when your time comes, how many ghosts will be standing around your bed? I recently traveled to South Africa. It's a beautiful country. But there are also places with poverty so deep it breaks your heart. And it reminded me of something important. The world needs you. Not just South Africa, not just the Middle East, not just Japan or Alabama or Tennessee. The whole world needs people who are willing to step up, to risk something, to give what they have. And it doesn't matter how much you have. Some of you have money, some of you have patience, some of you have kindness, some of you have vision, whatever it is. Your time, your talent, your prayers, your treasures. The question is, what are you going to do with what you have? Now let me tell you something about failure that might surprise you. Sometimes it's the best way to figure out where you're actually going. When I first started at Fordham University, I thought I'd be a doctor. I was pre-med. Then I took a course called cardiac morphogenesis, and let me tell you, I couldn't pronounce it. I couldn't understand it, and I certainly couldn't pass it, so I switched to pre-law, then to journalism. My grades collapsed. I had a 1.8 GPA, and the university suggested, politely, that I should take some time off. I was 20 years old, at my lowest point. One day I was helping my mother in her beauty shop in Mount Vernon. There was an older woman there, one of the elders of the town. I didn't know her personally, but she kept staring at me in the mirror. Finally, she pulled the dryer off her head and said something I'll never forget. She said, "Young boy, I have a prophecy for you. You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." Now at the time I laughed. I could barely get through my classes. But years later, her prophecy came true. I've traveled the world. I've spoken to millions. But here's the thing. Not because I had it all figured out, not because my life was a straight line, but because I kept moving forward, even when I failed, especially when I failed. So what does this mean for you? It means that taking risks isn't just about chasing a job. It's about living fully. It's about admitting what you don't know, being open to new people, new ideas, and new challenges. It's about giving everything you've got, your love, your courage, your creativity, and refusing to hold back. The chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, these are the things that will define your life. So never be discouraged, never hold back, never stop falling forward. Because here's the truth, if you risk nothing, you risk everything. Now, before you go, I want to leave you with this thought. Every single person watching this has untapped potential inside them. Maybe you're afraid to try. Maybe you're afraid of failure. Maybe you're afraid of what people will say. But ask yourself what's scarier. Failing or reaching the end of your life surrounded by the ghosts of what you could have been. So take the risk. Dream bigger. Fall forward. And if this message spoke to you today, make sure you subscribe to the channel and join our community of people committed to growth, risk, and resilience. Together, we can keep reminding each other to live fully, fail boldly, and keep moving forward. Because the world doesn't need more people who played it safe. The world needs people who are willing to fall forward.